Samsung has been making smartwatches since 2013. If you remember, they had the Galaxy Gear that started Samsung's line of smartwatches. But in this video, we're going to take a look at Samsung's latest watch. This is the Galaxy Watch 7. Let's go. But real quickly, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Turn on the notification bell, then buy yourself a membership so that this way you get badges, emotes, and exclusive content. Also buy some merch down below. All of that supports the channel. Also comment the word wearable and I will heart each comment. Engagement also helps the algorithm push this video. Now on to the review. Is this watch better than the previous Samsung watches? Yes. Okay, that's the end of the video. You could click off. No, I'm just kidding. But this watch is better than the previous 3 watches, and I will get into why later on in this video, so keep on watching and you will find out. Now, normally when I get smartwatches, I normally just kind of get the default one that's already pre-selected on the website, but this time I decided to change things up a bit. So I went for the 44mm silver watch. I also got the Sport Band. Now, the Sport Band is a rubber one and it has ridges. The reason for the ridges is because it is designed to keep sweat from being trapped under your wrist. Now, this is a good thing because it prevents rashes and other skin infections and things like that. Samsung decided to switch to a button mechanism to switch out your watch wristbands. I'm not sure why. I think Samsung tried to make it easier to switch out your watch wristbands, but I found it to be much more difficult. It still requires a very good fingernail, and my fingernails are not exactly the greatest at the present moment right now. But one thing I don't like about the bands are these thread accent things. I'm not sure why they are there. It kind of takes away from the aesthetic, but it does match the small blue and orange things that are on the Galaxy Buds 3. I just kind of think that on the watch, these things just simply look out of place, and I'm really not a fan of them at all. The screen is raised up off of the frame a little bit, so you might want to be careful when taking the Samsung Galaxy Watch 7 rock climbing or doing anything like that. Now, I'm not a case person when it comes to smartwatches, but if you are scared that you are going to do something to damage the screen, I would suggest getting a case for this watch because of how raised up the screen is. There is some bezel for you to rub your finger along to control the software like you used to on the classic watches. It's a digital rotating bezel meant for navigation throughout the watch that still works really well. The screen is a sapphire crystal glass front with an aluminum casing. Now, the casing is really nice in my opinion. It does make the watch look a bit more classy than, let's say, an Apple Watch. The screen itself is a 1.5-inch display on the 44mm watch, and the 40mm watch has a 1.3-inch display. The bigger one has a resolution of 480 by 480. The smaller one has a resolution of 430 by 430. On the outside is where there are 2 buttons. Now, these buttons serve multiple purposes. Of course, one of them is to power on or off the watch. You can remap these, obviously. Currently, I do have the top button open Google Assistant and the bottom one opens up Samsung Wallet. But the other purpose is to measure your EKG. Now, when you put it up further on your left arm, it will measure your EKG. It's the same thing with your body composition. Now, the body composition will require you to put in your weight and height. It also requires you to put your middle and ring fingers on the buttons at the same time. The EKG just needs your right index finger on the top button. This watch can measure your heart rate, and it does it throughout the day and throughout your workouts as well. The sensors underneath the screen also measure your skin temperature. Now, I'm a hot sleeper, so I need to sleep in the room temperature that is a bit colder when I'm sleeping. I did notice that my skin temperature was being measured while I was fast asleep as well. And this, in my opinion, is actually a very solid feature to have because it's also good to know how hot or how cold your body is while you're sleeping. Now, inside the watch is 32 gigabytes of internal storage and 2 gigabytes of RAM. This is significant because, at least on the storage side, you're getting an upgrade from the 16 gigabytes that was in the Watch 6 and in previous generations. This is great if you are someone who leaves your phone at home and uses Spotify on your runs to listen to music while you're out doing your exercises or whatever it is that you're doing. This watch also comes with a 425 milliamp battery that charges quickly and drains relatively at a normal pace for a smartwatch. The smaller one has a 300 milliamp hour battery. Now I used the 44 millimeter watch and it got me through a day and a half, but you can also have it last up to 2 days with the AOD off, the power saving on, and the heart rate monitor off, along with a few other modifications as well. It took an hour and 25 minutes to charge from 0 to 100, but most nights you're probably gonna get as low as maybe 35%. So when you wake up in the morning, you can put this on the charge while you are in the shower and you're getting ready for the day, and it will be at 100%. Or at least charge enough to get you through the day. It does have IP68 certification, meaning that the Galaxy Watch 7 is dust and water resistant up to 5 feet. This is great if you are a low dive or surface swimmer. It's not meant for high diving. If you are looking for something that is meant for high diving, then something from Garmin might do the trick for you. The previous watches used the 900 series of Exynos chips. They weren't really significant upgrades over the last 3 years. The Galaxy Watch 7, however, does have a significantly better processor. It's the W1000, which has 5 cores, as opposed to the W930, which only had 2 cores, and the software shows that. This, without a doubt, is the fastest smartwatch I have ever used. Now, on my Watch 5, there were some stutters from time to time, even early on when I first got it, but this watch has not stuttered on me that much. As you can see here, I am able to fly through the software without any hiccups, and it's just beautiful. This is honestly how a smartwatch should work. The software is very good also. It comes with One UI 6 on top of Wear OS 5. It's based on Android 14, and that does bring in some new features like a double pinch that can answer calls, start and stop timers, or whatever. But that only works in certain apps. There's also a knock-knock gesture that can do things like open your exercise menu, set reminders, open apps, and many other things like that. Now, some of these gestures do work for me for the most part, but sometimes they just feel a little bit inconsistent when it comes to them working. I don't know, it's kind of hit or miss for me, but when they do work, it's great for when you have dirty or wet hands. You can just use some of the gestures to do certain things. One of the things they introduced with One UI 6 on the Galaxy Watch 7 is the energy score. This is Samsung's version of the readiness score from Fitbit. It uses AI to determine what your energy will be like for the day. The AI will factor in things like your sleep, the previous day activity, what time you ate before going to bed to determine how your energy will be for the day. Now, I do like this feature because it is pretty accurate for the most part, but one of the things it does for me is that it gives me a reduced score even if I am feeling energetic because of my lack of activity from the previous day. This is proof that even if you are feeling good, Samsung will give you a low energy score. So my advice to you is don't take your energy score as gospel when it comes to how you feel. So here are my final thoughts. Now, this in my opinion is Samsung's best smartwatch ever. I think this is actually better than the Galaxy Watch Ultra because you get all the same features for the most part, give or take a few extra features that, by the way, you're actually paying twice the money for on the Galaxy Watch Ultra, like My Triathlon mode, which you can easily create in the Samsung Health app on the Galaxy Watch 7. And of course, you also have a few extra watch features that are on the Galaxy Watch Ultra that, in my opinion, are not worth twice the price. You also get better battery life on the Galaxy Watch 7 as well. You also get a very good screen. Also, you get a much better chip than the Galaxy Watch 6. Anyway, that's been my thoughts on this, on the Galaxy Watch 7. That's been my review. Hope you enjoyed this video. Comment what you liked, what you didn't like. Also, follow me on all the socials you see on this screen, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.